Welcome to Happy Hour, brought to you by Best Damn Bookkeeping.
Angela, I was watching you start dancing and then just get really disappointed all of a sudden. Like, oh, the music stopped. No, I'm off. But it's good to see you live and back up when the music starts back up. I think this is everybody. We're just trying this on. I think in the future we have a video and then it leads into the music and then the video goes away, but the music keeps going. I don't know how that would work. I think that would be pretty cool though. I think
we could make that happen.
That's me having thoughts. Every once in a while, I got ideas and thoughts. What's up, everybody? We got Jai in the house. We got Angela Schroeder in the house. We got Mike Grigery, Shawn, Dave, and me. I'm also in the house. I've been warned by my wife because she saw me put whiskey with the Coke. She said, "Don't get drunk before you need to go get Crosby." I was like, "I'm having one happy hour cocktail. Come on now. I'm a professional. I'm a professional drinker. I get paid to drink. I'm not sure exactly how it monetizes, but professionalism." Danit's in the house. What's up, Danit? Danit, I need your QuickBooks invite. Since I saw you, I was just thinking about that because you're on my other screen as like who people I need to follow up with. But since you're here, this is me. Consider this a follow up. T's in the house. To the T. What up, T? I kind of had this realization, you guys. What? Look at this stranger. Look at this guy in the house. Ed Aaron's finally made it back. I was going to come and check on you, Ed. I was going to come and mow some lawns for you or something. Maybe Ed will come mow my lawn. By lawn, I mean like field of dandelions. I like flower. I'm trying to work on get the pollinators, bees and stuff. So I'm just letting my yard turn into dandelions.
Maybe he can help you with that.
At some point I'll get to it, but I'm busy here. We got stuff to do. Ryan Fox is in the house. What's up, Ryan? It says he's on his way. I used to have a guy like my favorite little dude in the neighborhood. I don't know if I've talked about this before, but like I grew up mowing lawns. That was my source of income as a kid. Kind of that like late middle school all the way through high school. And even in college, when I'd come back home, I'd mow some lawns in the summer. And there was a kid in our neighborhood that had a company t-shirt for his business. And he invoiced like out of QuickBooks but he wasn't 16. He rode his bike. He built a little trailer and put his mower and a little gas can on this little trailer, and he would pedal around the neighborhood, and he had his little business and like would legit run it like a business. Had his shirt, had his QuickBooks. He was doing it all. And it was pretty cool to see a little entrepreneur dude. But then he like went to college and shit. And now I have to mow my lawn. It's crazy.
God, he ruined everything. He went to college. He was on a roll, man.
Mm-hmm. Probably just going to sharpen his business skills, and then he can come back and mow my lawn for like 3 times what he was charging me. You guys kind of had this like realization after I got to see y'all last week. It's like the end of convention season. Really, like the Huge is the next one. That's 3 months away. The next one for me, I don't have any between now and then. It seems like there's always that massive spring rush, and Clippa kind of bookends it. And then the Huge kind of starts it back up. Kind of. There's not that many in the fall because everybody's so busy. But I'm not going to be at the Huge this year. I'm going to be out chasing elk and stuff, doing other weird stuff. So I don't think I'm going to have another convention for like 8 months. As I was looking at the calendar, at least 7 months. Feels kind of weird. Feels a little bit weird. But I figured since we all got to hang out a little bit last week, we should do some Clip-a-con. There's a play in words there.
There is.
Make it up for yourself. Somebody help. Figure we could regroup a little bit on Clip-a-con. What's that?
You said somebody help.
Somebody help.
Somebody help.
Somebody help me.
Give me a line.
Yeah. So I want a little recap on Clip-a-con, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you learned, any takeaways, audience as well. Give us a shout. I know Ryan Fox was out there. We got to hang with Ryan. Anybody else watching that was at Clip-a-con, give us some highlights. Give us some lowlights. Let's give Matt a hard time. Let's give him some constructive feedback if we got for him. And just convention season in general, I want to talk about. And obviously, Angela was a big part of one this year. And so that's kind of cool to revisit a little bit and talk about big things coming up in the future. So anyway, what Michael, Shawn, Angela, what was good for you at Clipicon? What'd you like?
Ladies first.
Everybody all at once.
I like getting to hang out with all of you. It's always good to just get to see y'all in person and be together in person and have those conversations. And just so I love that. I love my time with each of you. I'm going to kick that off. I got to have my first ever glass of wine with Dan. Not beer.
Right.
We drank wine together.
You're right. We did.
So that was weird. Shawn, we talked about this earlier. I got to see his impressive fruit by the foot skills.
Yeah. I thought I was this is like a classic arrogant dude douchebag personality here, but I was like, I didn't say this out loud.
Me or you?
No, me. I didn't say this out loud.
That's harsh.
I didn't say this out loud, but in my head I was like, I'm gonna fucking destroy you guys at this for no reason. Like I had never done this game before. I had never now don't get me wrong. I do like me some fruit roll up or fruit by the foot or whatever that stuff is. I don't like the whatever Starburst lemon version that you guys stuffed me with. I think that was part of why I lost.
Terrible. They were all terrible.
I think that was why I lost. I was just like, this flavor is just not going down easy. But I really thought I'd be better at that. I was pretty disappointed in my effort. Like I had very high expectations and I performed really low. So clearly I don't know the trick.
Dude, I love you. I love you. You're a good dude. But let me tell you something. When we were doing our team shit in St. Louis with the axe throwing, you were like hazing me a little bit, going, dude, you ain't got a chance, man. You ain't got a chance. And I'm not gonna say it out loud, I guess, but I did whoop some ass.
You dominated. You dominated.
Yeah. And I never did it before.
Yeah, I was talking a lot of smack about that too.
Yeah, you were, man. Damn.
Yeah.
And I I'm not exactly doing what was it? The fruit roll up freaking whatever contest. I don't practice that very often either, but I must have a hell of a mouth. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is.
Well, let's get
I guess I
Amy
didn't
on
have
here.
a chance.
Let's get
I
Amy
saw
on
that
here.
video too.
Jai, you're the man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody's talking about it, Shawn. Everybody's talking about your domination.
Right. Great. That's what I'm known. That's what I'm known for. Great.
Yeah. There you go.
I'll take it.
I will say too, I mean, I think the guy that went in the next group beat your time by like a fraction of a second, but he had a bunch of pointers, right? He got to watch. Everybody was kind of like telling him what to do, and then he barely edged you out.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it was clear though that I wasn't the worst. Evan from Mr. Pipeline, do you think you were worse?
If you watch my video, I mean, they were done and I had barely moved.
I don't know. I feel like Evan got worked. Evan got worked worse than I got worked. I like Evan. I'm not trying to dog on him. But we'll have to go. We got to go roll that beautiful bean footage and see what the times were.
Well, that's my favorite. And I got to meet Michael's family. That's always good.
Yeah. Thomas was running around acting all crazy on the beach. That was fun.
He was
Well, and
wild.
you guys got to hang out with him on Saturday too.
Yeah. So lots of great connections, great people. I love talking with
Look at this.
business owners.
We got a famous author on here.
We do.
We got a famous author down there. Tyler Starkey in the house. That's pretty sweet.
Tag the book.
I got his book twice.
Oh, I got it. I should hold it up. It's just over there.
I don't have the hard copy yet. Denise says, what is Clipicon anyway? It is the Christmas Light Installation Pros Association, Clippa, convention, hence the Clipicon. So very holiday light focused, very spirited convention. The decorations were pretty awesome.
Yeah, my son was convinced it was Christmas. We pulled into the hotel, like, is it Christmas? And like, no, it's just
Oh, I suppose because when you live in San Diego, you don't have environmental cues to tell you that it's Christmas.
Yeah, it's the same.
We know pretty darn well up here that it's getting to be Christmas. You guys don't. That's interesting. Yeah, he's probably just like, man, that came up quick this year.
He's 4. He doesn't understand time yet.
That's awesome. That's awesome, though.
I'll say Matt took advantage of the atmosphere with the boat rides and the social stuff and the bars and the food and all that. I thought that was pretty first class.
Yeah. I think Matt does that as good as anybody. Like Clippa crushes it on the social aspects, which, as you guys all know, that is where I like to spend my time anyway. So I'm a huge fan of that. But yeah, it's I feel like at any convention, that's where the magic happens, is just building those relationships. If it wasn't 5-foot waves and windy and colder than I expected it to be, the fishing trip that we did Saturday with 5 of us, there are 5 Clippa folks there. I guess not Clippa folks, but 5 people that were also at the convention that went out fishing together. That would have been my highlight. The fishing wasn't great, and the seasickness wasn't great, but the company was good. So we had that going for us. And any day out for a redneck like me, any day out on the water, drinking beer with buddies, can't beat that.
It's always all about the people.
It's all about the people. Would have been nice if some of us weren't, feeling like shit while we were out there bobbing around in waves. Might have had a little bit to do with eating at Fogo the night before and drinking way too much. I think, and I jinxed myself with this one. I made it very clear that I don't take shots. Like, I am not a fan of taking shots. Nothing really great happens, and you never feel great after any evening where shots go down. And Mark Tudine got me to take a tequila shot when we were at Fogo. And I say he got me as if I didn't have a choice, which is like, that's kind of how shots work, isn't it? It's just like peer pressure, and eventually you're just like, yeah. But Ryan, those whatever those things are, there's like a specific name for those cheese biscuits they have at Fogo. I think I could just eat those all day. I think like just snack on them all day. Warm, cold, stale. I like them. They're good no matter what condition they're in.
Then, there were a few people that actually crossed the border too, man. I wouldn't be mentioning names though here right now, but there were a few people that headed south.
Took advantage. There was a speakeasy night.
Yeah,
I had a good time at the speakeasy. Angela didn't make it to the speakeasy.
I'm usually pretty responsible. Well, maybe that's my new self. There's now last year Clippa was a match at match.com. Since I met JC.
I'm usually pretty responsible. I think that still goes. Usually still goes. That gives you leeway to not be responsible every once in a while.
This year I make a decision, and yeah, like I go back early so that I can be smiles the next morning.
But I would argue that I think you can go out and I've seen you party all night and still be smiles the next morning. So
I can do both.
Well, you can do that.
Maybe I'm getting old.
I do find that having the like getting up in the morning to go for a run like forces me to go to bed at a reasonable hour. And so I tend to be a little bit more responsible when I know I'm going to get up and exercise. And my exercise sucks, but 4 hours of sleep and a little hungover, I still can run 3 miles if I have to. It's going to be a lot slower, but made it happen. Any other highlights for you guys? I got another one. I'm just going to, even though I just asked you guys, I'm just butting in with another one. Seeing Michael Grigery in the flesh. Guy lives half the world away from me. And so the low light was not seeing Michael Grigery enough. So it's kind of a weird highlight and low light. But just even being able to like hang out and have lunch together.
It was fun. For me, it's the acumen. This event, although it's not as large as some other events, just the overall like business IQ and acumen of the attendees. There's so many 7-figure companies there, people with very successful businesses, and just get to learn so much more. I expected it to be similar to a lot of events where there's a large pool of just people just starting out and have never installed anything before.
Yeah.
And that was definitely not the case with this event. There was a wealth of knowledge, and every circle you were in, you learned something new.
That's a super good point. that the number of $1 million plus businesses that are in that room compared to a lot of the conventions we're at, there's a much higher percentage in that room than anywhere else.
Yep.
And they do it in like 2 months. It's just crazy. And I mean, to that point, Tiffany Welch in the house. What? Ooh, click, call, sell. I think we got spend a couple minutes digging into this. Why don't you answer that one, Michael? Why don't you hit that one?
What the heck is click call? Did I see that last second? What the heck is click call sell?
What the heck is click call sell?
I love it. What the heck is click call sell? Digital marketing company specifically focused on the home services businesses. I was a digital consultant for the largest franchise holdings companies in the world and decided I didn't want to work for super rich people. I wanted to do it for myself and help small business owners. So we built websites, built over 100 websites for home service companies last year, Google ads, Facebook ads, local SEO, and just brand building in general.
And I use him. And he's awesome. And he's a business partner of mine.
Yeah.
And
And you just heard how we all think he's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, keep it going, Michael. Do you work for any cleaning businesses?
Oh, dozens of cleaning businesses. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would say
house cleaning. Yeah.
I was going to say, give us a little bit of the lay of land. Like, I assume you have a lot of exterior cleaning companies because they're so heavy in like Google ads, like in that space and websites. What's roughly the makeup of your clientele? I assume that like home services, there's a lot of nooks and crannies, so you can cover a lot of ground, but
yeah, so it ranges anywhere between 200, 220 clients. We're in like our peak season right now. Our busiest month ever was last month. It's probably 150 exterior cleaning. And the rest make up a large part of residential, like house cleaning, maid service, whatever you want to call it, painting, tree service, and landscaping. That's pretty much our core competency.
Booyah. Let me hit you with this because this is while we got people interested, and I want to hit on this. What's the lay of the land with Google? Like, is local service ads continuing to take off more? Is Google ads still thing you should be putting a bunch of money into? What are you seeing the evolution of like where ad spend should be happening these days, and how is it changing over the last 12 months?
It's a really good question. Yeah, so it's so Google is a publicly traded company. They make hundreds of billions of dollars a year, specifically from ads. And so it's really hard to say which one works best because Google's going to show whichever one they can make the most money with. So every industry, every market is really dependent on how many people are signing up for local service ads and what's their bid versus how many people are doing Google ads and what's their bid. So whoever Google's going to make the most money from is what they're going to do. So it really depends, but both of them are important because I like to say it's like the game of Risk. If you ever played it, the goal is to take over as much of the map as you possibly can. So you're just buying real estate on Google search page. And you want to buy as much of that real estate as you can because if anybody's been in business more than 5 years, you know that they're just smashing organic down even farther every single year.
Organic is hardly on page one anymore. Like it doesn't exist on page one.
And then it's like Angie and Thumbtack and all these different companies too. So it's really, really hard to even like money keywords, those 5 or 6 keywords you want to rank for. They're all being bought up by these billion-dollar brands. So buying that real estate. Google Business Profile, hands down, the absolute best place to be is optimizing that is where you want to start because it's free and it only takes about 5 minutes a day to make it completely and totally awesome.
Booyah. If I had a gun to your head and you don't know exactly where it is, but you know it's a cleaning company, would you say local service ads first or Google ads first?
Local service. I'd always start with local service ads because it's way easier for the business owner to do, manage, and optimize. Way easier. Google ads, it's pretty complicated relative to Google local service ads.
Jai, you back there? Did you and JC and Angela coordinate today on the black sleeveless? What's going on around here?
Got a flexion, baby.
I'm feeling left out. Let's go.
Michael, the legend.
What's up? I haven't seen you in like 4 days.
I know, it's crazy.
I think Skip is making fun of my website here because I have this email drafted to your dude, Michael, because Click Call Sales building my website. They have been for a while, and they are not the bottleneck. It's right here. This is the bottleneck.
Oh, and I was wondering what that meant. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can't write content for Dan's bookkeeping page. It would be terrible. Like, we do bookkeeping really well. This is what we like.
Actually, you should have somebody write it like that, just total Mr. Rogers style. And then whoever reads it and knows me will be like, this is hilarious. If they don't know me, they will be really baffled when they do a demo call with me.
Or they say something that's just blatantly untrue, and then 2 months later, like, you said that you did the balance sheet reviews, and I was like, never said that.
No, that's what my website said. That's not what I said. We're different. Yeah, I do. I actually, like, legit, I have an email like 99% done, but I was like going to go back and read it and hit send on it. And like, there was a couple other things I was going to touch up on it. And I did that like a month or two ago, and it's still in my drafts. So it's going to happen.
Is your website like actually live?
It's live, and it just has a bunch of gibberish in there. Hey, this was my decision. I think it's hilarious. And I could tell Matt to pull it down or to make it unlive, but I just think it's funny.
If anybody wants to see our process for building websites, it's right here. You design the site first and have a content writer.
It looks super good. Here's a cool thing that I did that I don't have out there yet because I need to send it to you guys along with the email of the things I want in there. We took, you know how like if you have a window cleaning business, you take a picture of your crew and all the trucks and stuff like that. We took a screenshot of all of us on a meeting together and just all of our smiling faces. And so we're going to put that in the background, and it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's just going to be what's on the background of our website is just us on a Google Meet because that's how we do our work. Nerds.
Nice.
We should do it one like where everybody's like cheersing or something or pointing at each other like the Brady Bunch.
There you go.
We could do that.
Yes.
Except we hid me rather than like me being in the center. We hid me down in the corner. We're like, that was good. Get the wild card out of here.
Get the whole team mug from your logo.
Tiffany hit on the head. The reason why I like am so just procrastinating on the website is we don't need that to crunch those numbers. We don't need a website.
Crush numbers.
Crush those numbers.
Crush.
It says we right at the bottom, right there. Jai's got it on the ticker. We make bookkeeping not suck. We didn't say we.
That's all you need. Just put sign up now.
That's pretty much all that's on there, and then just a bunch of gibberish. It's pretty like that is what's on the website right now. That's all that's out there. A link to book a demo. We make bookkeeping not suck. Here, let's do this. Ed wants to see it.
Present it.
Yeah, let's get this baby.
Dude, I need to get my son for the drum roll, man.
Oh yeah. Here, let's see.
I should have sound effects for this.
So here it's gonna lag me for a sec. Like right now we just have generic dude torso in the background. That's generic dude torso. That's what we call him. That's where we're gonna put all of our smiling faces just in the background. So that all you see when you sign on is just like, "What's up? This is us." So this is it. This is all you need to see. Everything's here. We keep home service companies organized and profitable. We make bookkeeping not suck. Book a call. There's nothing else. That's it. And then down here, it's just, here's the gibberish of the things that I need to send over. And right now, it's just the gibberish.
That's it's a nice looking template, though. I got to tell you.
Right? Like,
you could put bacon ipsum on there. That'd have been a little funnier. Bacon ipsum, your jam, Dan, because it's all just like pork beef brisket. You could even make it spicy, and it'll talk like jalapenos brisket. It's way more.
I'll send an email back to your dude like, hey, I like the content, but I'd really like it to be the bacon ipsum.
It's more on brand.
Yeah, it's all in here. Everything you need to know is here.
Just a suggestion. Speaking of on brand, you're the only person I've ever met in my entire life that can be drinking a shitty light beer on stage while you're presenting to hundreds of people. If I did that or anybody I know did that, I would be looked at as a complete and total alcoholic and everybody would walk out. So you're the only person that can pull it off. So because it's on brand and the beer is part of your name, you need to get just some B-roll. If you're walking on stage with a lineup of Mick Ultras on the stage floor and you just like back and forth with this little koozie, that's what you need. Because people will understand like, oh, now I get it. This guy
just some random shots of me. Probably JC and Angela, I bet we have a shot from
Yeah.
Sales Boost of us cracking some beers up on stage when I got up to talk. We could probably do something like that.
Yeah, we cracked Busch Lights with you.
Yeah, I don't. So I think you guys heard about this. When I set up, so when I was talking, Angela and JC were talking in the room right next to me. I didn't yell. I was gonna like talk super, super loud. You guys know how loud I am. Were you guys in the room when Matt couldn't get everybody's attention? And I stood up and I just yelled, "Everybody shut the hell up!" And everybody's just like, "Oh God."
Yeah,
Like morning one, like he had everybody start talking to each other and introduce themselves, and then they just wouldn't stop. And he's up there with the microphone, like, "Hey, everybody, like, we need you all to." And I mean, he was doing that for like 10 seconds. And eventually I was like, this is bothering me. I got to put an end to this. I'm probably the loudest person in here, so I'm just going to own this. And I just yelled at everybody. In a funny, happy sort of way, not in like a I'm going to kick your ass sort of way. Yeah, it worked. I was going to yell through the wall to see if I could disturb your guys' presentation just for fun, because that's the kind of guy that I am. But instead, I got sidetracked by my computer not turning on. It would like turn on and fire up, and then the fan was like malfunctioning and overheating, so it would just keep shutting down. Like about the time I could even open up my slides. And so in true home service happy hour fashion, I just winged it. Just had to wing it. And wouldn't you know it, it probably was the best presentation I think I've ever given, because nobody was distracted by the slides on the screen. Nobody was like sitting up there, like, because everybody otherwise is like taking pictures of slides, which I always think is so funny. It's like you are never in any way, shape, form ever going to go back and look at that picture. Like you're better off just like the only thing you should take a picture of is my QR code, so you can book time with me to say, hey, what the hell was on your slides again? Like that would be more purposeful than taking a picture of the slides, because it's just not meaningful without the context. But it was a lot of fun presenting without any slides, because it became an interaction. And the slides are really just bullet points, right? To have the things you want to talk about. And it was interesting when I'd be like, okay, I know there's 5 things on a slide that I want to talk about, and I think I've said 3 of them. And I would poll the audience, like, was that 3 things? I think I told you I was going to give you 5. Did I give you 3? They'd be like, yeah, 3. And I was like, okay, so there's 2 more. I think it's these 2 things. And so they could kind of help guide me on my bullet points. But it was a lot of fun. It went well. Let's I want to come back with just a little recap on the convention season, if you will. I want to talk a little bit about Sales Boost and everything else that's going on in the world of the home service industry. We'll see where we go from there. But Jai, why don't you play us out on a little commercial break action? I got to get squeezed in like 2 commercial breaks now. I went too long on segment 1. I got distracted. We'll be back for a little more home service happy hour right here on Turfs Up Radio. Don't go nowhere.
Landscapers, stop leaving money on the table. Aspire Software maximizes profits and ensures your hard work pays off. Win more business with accurate bids. Manage expenses with real-time job costing. Get live performance updates and improve communication with powerful mobile features. And more. Why settle? You deserve software that works just as hard as you do. Learn more at youraspire.com. That's youraspire.com.
You're listening to Turfs Up Radio, the only radio station of its kind dedicated to the green industry. Now you can even ask Alexa to tune you in when you're home.
How many times have you tried to switch away from gas-powered OPE only to find the power wasn't there and you needed too many batteries to avoid long charge times? Not anymore. Crest Commercial Landscape Tools provide the same level of power and performance as their gas counterparts, but with a revolutionary battery technology. Supported by the Crest Cyber System, the 60-volt CyberPack batteries can charge in 8 minutes or less. Finally, professional landscapers can confidently make the change to battery without sacrificing power, performance, or runtime. Crest, it's the only choice to replace gas. Visit Crest.com.
From the East Coast to the West Coast and around the world, here's to all the women in the green industry. Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
I like this one. That's a good one. Got a little different feel to it. We lost our Shawn day. Shawn's got kiddo sports. JC, you were at the playground today?
Oh, yeah.
Out at the playground?
It was in the back of the tent. It was pretty cool.
Dude, swinging, like, I used to swing like the Dickens when I was a kid. I was a swinging machine. And now I get on a swing, and I'm like, oh, man, like, the motion sickness is real out here. Like, going back and forth.
I tried jumping with that weighted vest on, and it was not pleasant.
Oh, no, I bet. Yeah, you get a little top heavy. Get a little top heavy with that. Oh, now Angela's into it. Okay, we're back live. Now I can tell that
I haven't heard this song before. It's a new one. I wasn't ready.
You haven't
for
heard
the
that one before? That's a good one. It's a nice little change up. Jai's always mixing up. He's got all kinds of goodies in the goodie bag. Yeah, I was out there running with the sales boost shirt on today. Just repping. Just rep. I should have also had my coffee mug with and just been running with that. Just full sport mode sales boost. I think I ran my best like 3 mile time so far of the year.
Dang. What'd you get?
It tends to be like I work out all winter long, but I don't run usually. I do like inside jump around beach body stuff. And so when I start running in the springtime, I'm getting worse and worse as I get older naturally. And as I have consumed more light beers. But I usually am like somewhere in the 8:45 range when I start, like, and 3 miles is kind of par for the course for me. Mostly because that's what I have time for. Cause I try to run over lunch and 3 miles, I got to like get back fast enough to shower and get back on a call. I think I was at 8:20 today, 8:20 ish.
Good.
And so I feel like every year I dip into the sevens by the fall. And then miraculously by springtime, I'm back, like back by like just sub 9. It's just,
I feel awful because last year I was on this like run and cycling kick, and I think I had 100-mile April last year. That was just running, not including cycling. So I need to get back.
We did a few hundred months right after we met, May and June.
Yeah.
I miss biking. I don't bike as much now that I have little kids because it's like it's tough. Biking takes more time. Like if you're going to go for a bike ride, I feel like you are out for an hour.
Yeah.
That's what it's like to hit 20 plus miles to like feel like you really gave her hell. You're gone for an hour. And with little kids, like I can't be gone for an hour. I get like 25, 30 minutes is usually about my time frame. And I feel like I can bang out a run and like feel exhausted in 20, 25 minutes. Biking, you kind of need an hour. I don't know what it is. It might be that when I bike, I don't do this running, but when I bike, it's something like 10 miles out, and there usually happens to be a bar like right around there. I don't know. And then I got to go like make sure everybody is okay.
That's like a taco ride. I haven't found a taco ride here. Are there taco rides there?
They're doing a ride
taco ride. Is that just like take out the bar and put in a taco stand?
There were several taco. It was like a 20-mile. There were different nights. There were like 4 nights a week that there was a taco ride, and there were different places. You rode 10 miles, like beautiful trails. You rode 10 miles, and at the end happened to be a taco restaurant, and you'd have tacos and beer, and then beer and margaritas. And by the time you drove 10 miles back, you burned off the margaritas.
Not the beer and the tacos, though.
And well, maybe not.
You could tell you burn off the margaritas because after we went out and I had those very acidic margaritas that we had at the fish taco place. Mm-hmm. That next morning, that first run that we did, I was burping up margarita like a son of a gun, and that is not a fun thing to burp up. No. I wish I would have had like a whole bottle of Tums with me, and every time I burped one up, I could just scarf down a Tums or two. It was right in here, you know what I'm talking about when you get the things with the stuff, the acid.
I've never had a Tums in my life.
Well, you're missing out, pal. I don't know. Maybe you're not.
I've only had a couple, and they did zero for me. Literally nothing, except make my mouth taste like chalk.
Yeah, they'll do that. They do. Like, ice fishing, they've come in handy for me a couple times. And it's usually like if it's fried food or pizza, those are the things that'll get me.
I think Jai's trying to keep you hungry with a little banner. He's saying, "Focus, fucker."
Let's remember what we learned.
What? We have an agenda. So let's talk a little bit about a convention season because obviously JC and Angela, you guys run a darn convention. You know a thing or two about what's going on in the convention space, and I'm curious your take on it because there's been a saturation, I'll say. Like there's more conventions than there's more content than there's been, right? Like even this show is like competing with more and more and more and more content that's out there. And I don't think that's a whole lot different than conventions or a whole lot different than our washing companies or our maid service companies. Like the pie is growing, right? And so in this space, I like hands down, I'd say you guys had the best show at Sales Boost. And we talked about it right afterwards. Like you guys nailed it. And anybody that wasn't at Sales Boost ought to have one hell of a FOMO. And that's not to take anything away from the huge, but well, maybe it is since their whole trade show floor smelled like a toilet. Like I'll never let them live that down. That was so disgusting. But the like CBF Live that Debbie does is amazing. She crushes that show every year. Clip-a-Con was a ton of fun and tight and relationships and the social stuff. I feel like you guys had the best mix of everything where it just felt like you had the perfect amount of stimulation and freedom somehow. And the right people there. As you guys are like behind the scenes now, like you know how the sausage is made a little bit. And so I'm curious, what are you guys seeing in the space? What do you like about how you did Sales Boost? What would you change? What do you think is coming up over the next 12 months of trade shows that you see as the evolution of this space? Because they're not going away, right? Like this is a great way for us all to get together and see each other and whatever the case is. Ed's got some major FOMO, and he should. Definitely should. He was already giving me a hard time for sucking down some Trulies in Omaha because I didn't have any Busch Lights there.
I know that's all I had for that. I just met Dan. I didn't have a Busch Light for him.
Lucky for everybody, I am not picky. I threw down a couple Trulies, as a matter of fact. But I'm curious, JC and Angela, what are you guys seeing from a convention space, and don't give us all your secrets, keep some secrets for yourself. But what would you do more of? What would you do less of?
The one thing this year, I think shows and conventions.
You guys, hold on. Can you guys hear my phone ringing? In my headphones, my Google Voice phone is definitely ringing, and I was like, "Man, this is gonna be really awkward." Now I'm just making it awkward by talking about it since you guys can't hear it. But my phone's ringing in my ears, and not yours. That's cool. Okay, bye.
You want to do a sale on the call right now?
I was so I have a phone number for people to call in on the show and go live. Except it's also the phone number that we use to get like bank codes and stuff like that. And so now I'm like, I don't know if I want to answer it because it might be one of my account managers trying to get a bank code. So I need a new Google Voice phone number for the show versus the security code stuff. So don't call in because I'm not going to answer because it could be just a security code.
But I was saying, like, for years we saw shows on the rise. Like, I mean, everything was scaling. You see more people year over year growth on the shows. 2024 hit hard for a lot of people, whether it's the economy, whether it's elections, whether they're just being conscious of their money this year. And we've been to 4 shows, including Sales Boost. Sales Boost is the only one that I saw static as far as the same amount. Well, we had more people. We had 200 people there this year, 127 last year. But the other 3 shows,
you guys chose to not come ice fishing so you could work your ass off to make sure you had like a bigger show. I mean, like it wasn't an accident. You guys worked your ass off to do that.
We'll say about that. But
there's always next year.
We will be there next year. But again, the other 3 shows we've been to have seen a decrease in the amount of attendees. And And I don't think the shows are dead or anything like that. I think we just need to get through this year. I'm kind of wondering what the Huge is going to have an impact on that. I know they do gather a great crowd, great speakers out there, great location. So I am very curious to see how that will play out coming into August, just based off of what I've seen for the last, like I said, 4 shows that we've been to this year. But as far as the shows, there's just so much that goes on in the back end that not many people understand or realize. And then you'll have so many people make comments about everything, the food, the location, the times. Like there's so many things that go into place and so hard to cater everybody. But Angela did like a phenomenal job with Sales Boost and was super meticulous about all the details. And we found that one thing which made Sales Boost a huge success and why a lot of people loved it was we kept everybody there. We didn't give you a reason to want to leave other than dinner. And just like in Clipicon, if you have that after lunch speaking spot and people have a very minimal break to go get food, like it's real tough for that afternoon speaker, the lunch speaker, to show up and nobody's there.
Yep.
It's bad for the speaker, but it's also bad for the attendees because they're missing out on an opportunity, but they got to eat. So Sales Boost was great for that. Like you're staying in this room for the next 9 hours. We're going to feed you breakfast. We're going to feed you lunch, and we're going to give you some snacky poos at the middle of the day. So you're not craving or having an excuse to leave.
And if you track Dan down, he might find a Busch Light for you too.
There you go. Yes, absolutely. There's always a Busch Light or a Mick Ultra while we're at Clipicon, ready to go for you.
That was just what was the easiest to Instacart. I'm not picky. I just whatever's the easiest to Instacart. Ryan Fox says, yeah. Oh, then Jairus and I both clicked a thing, and then he won because he clicked second, so his overtook mine. Ryan Fox says 100% with JC. Let's go back to Roberts. Back to shouting out click, call, sell. Look at this. Look at this one. Oh, Jai and I clicked it. No, Jai, I clicked it. No, I'm gonna click it. No, I'm gonna click it. That was a click battle. If you didn't know, Jai produced
my bad.
Click battle.
Oh, thanks, Robert.
Yeah, true that.
Rob at Clipicon. That was exciting. First time I got to meet him. Great guy.
Yeah, Did I see a picture of him on your shoulders?
What?
Did I see a picture of him on your shoulders, or was I dreaming that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Where was this? Where was I? Why wasn't I wanted?
You were there. You're the picture.
Where am I?
I'll find it. I'll send it to you real quick. I actually had to take that one.
I was probably busy talking to Rob Anderson.
I don't know. What are your thoughts on those, Ange?
What's up, Rob Anderson?
What's up? I think I have a video of when Robert was on JC's shoulders.
I don't know if I was there for that. I mean, I probably was around.
It was the night of the I just sent it to you, Dan, on Messenger, but it was the night of the cruise.
You were in the very front, Dan. You handed me a beer that was unopened, and then it disappeared into my hands, and I drank it all.
Yeah, I said, "Hey, Rob," but in fairness, didn't I do that to you twice at Sales Boost, where I said I was going to give you a beer, but by the time I got back to you, I had already opened it and drank it?
Oh, so now it's just payback because that happened to you twice at Clipicon. That you're like, hold this beer.
Yeah, here, Rob, hold
wait a second, I gave this beer to the wrong person. He's gonna drink it all.
Yeah, shit. Like, and I knew it right away. I was like, Rob, hold on to my beer for me. Oh wait, it's unopened. This beer's gone. So we're even. We're even. Yeah. I didn't. Now in I don't know if this is in my defense or not. I was there, but I was in front of you guys facing wherever the camera was, so I didn't see what you guys were up to. Or I totally would have jumped on Robert's shoulders and we would have gone triple decker.
Yeah.
You could have sat on top of that decor piece and try to get up there.
Yeah. Could
done that. Dan, real quick, you got a bunch. I mean, you probably have like 500 people watching this right now. Like
600.
If you go to shows,
probably at 600.
I want to comment, like, what is your favorite part about shows? Is it the networking? Is it the classes, the speakers? Is it the swag? Because this helps other show promoters or, the guys putting the shows understand what makes a show successful. And again, it's so hard to capture everybody. There's always going to be somebody unhappy about something. Mm-hmm. We get it. I promise you, come put a show on and you were like, holy shit, because that was me this year. And it was 2 weeks before the show, and I looked at Angela.
And that was you saying holy shit, and you were doing 10% of it, and Angela's probably doing 90%.
I didn't think it was 10, it was probably 6.
Yeah, it's nuts.
He probably hated me the weeks up.
I was ready for a divorce 2 weeks before sales meeting.
But you do see that it is a lot about the choreography. Like when we say details, people don't understand like details. It's about the choreography of the experience of how anything, when we say it's about the choreography of the experience of how people feel at an event, that's just like your customers in every experience. Like you need to think of the process of your client experience like choreography. Yes, I owned a dance studio. But it's the whole thing put together, and a lot of a client experience. The event is just a big experience, but your client experience, you have to look at it from a choreography point of view. It's not what did this isolated experience look like? What does this phone call look like? Or what does onboarding look like? What is the whole thing? How does all of it weave together? That experience make your client feel. And a client in an event, the difficult part of an event is you have 3 clients, 3 types of clients: attendees, sponsors, and speakers. So that makes it a little bit unique.
I need to get Rob. Robert needs this link here. Here it comes, Robert. It's coming at you. If I can type in my phone. There he is. Here we go.
So I'll just say for ClipAcon, I wish we had way more attendees, which I think everybody would have enjoyed more. And having more people in class as a speaker was really frustrating, not having a lot of people even to give the opportunity for a lot of people to be in the classes.
Yeah, it was spread too thin, I think. Spread a little too thin.
Spread thin, and then to JC's point of like, it's when you have to go to rooms and you might get distracted going to your own room or grabbing breakfast and then you're too late, or you just have to take the decision out of it for people. And then
I think that's the hardest part about the huge is it's just so widespread. Like it's not that the number of people make it so huge. Like when it was and not to say it should be in Atlanta at the Marriott every year, because that place gets kind of weird the minute you step outside the door. But it is really nice that when you're in there, you know where everybody's at. Like there's one kind of central meeting place. And so it's not hard to like find where people are. At the huge, it's like where they could be anywhere in here. This is like 50 football fields.
Which one of the 7 bars at the Gaylord are you going to be at?
Yeah.
Instead, which will be our 7th bar at the Atlanta?
Michael, do you have a question, or what are you doing over there? Are you just stretching? You doing some yoga? Are you leading us in yoga?
Yeah, this might be a squirrel
moment. Tell the whole truth.
Yeah, this might be a squirrel moment, but as a speaker, which all of us are at events, I like to see data, which of course none of you are surprised by that. But when you're speaking to an audience, there's very few topics that it's a broad spectrum, and a brand new stage 1 company is going to get the same value as a stage 4 or 5 company. And so for speakers, it's valuable, but also for you, the host, to like know, like, okay, we typically get, brands doing 100 to 500,000 or 100 million up, because this one is really high. And you would also get to know, like, okay, so we know who our avatar is, cater more to that avatar and get more of that. Or maybe we're going to open it up to like different levels, but just collecting like years in business, not state, but like Northwest, Southwest, Central, or whatever. And then revenue type. Those things would be super helpful for you, the event coordinator, as well as the speakers, to know, like, who am I creating this for? Because at ClipAcon, somebody's blown me up. At ClipAcon, I didn't know, and it was all larger companies in there. And so here I am talking about people like, oh, you're just like dabbling in Christmas lights. This is what to do. I'm like, I'm not speaking to one human being in this room right now. So that's part of the slides. Sorry about that.
That is a good point. And that is something we provided to, like we had based on people. I mean, obviously it was always changing. We had a ton of people register at the last minute. So it was the best picture we could. But we tried to, based on companies, create that avatar and then over communicate to speakers. Like you said, I mean, as a speaker going on in a presentation, not only do you want to know the avatar that you're speaking to, like who your audience is, how you can speak to them, but just to feel like well taken care of and prepared, like have a green room. Not feel like
have some bush lights in it.
we had bush lights, in there for you.
Yeah.
But just feel like you can go on with the best energy of you felt like exactly you knew who you're talking to. That's a great point, Michael. Like the sponsors and the speakers need to know like exactly who you're showing up to talk to. And what they want to hear. I think that's part
and the coordinator too, because now you know, like, okay, this is the people that are most likely to attend our event. How can we find those type of people? Or you say there's a huge opportunity for a smaller group, so we can like start to know who we're targeting. And of course, people are going to lie. Just reduce it by
wasn't this Clipicon like the first time that we haven't like? I know there were some pre-event classes, but there wasn't like a full-on like newbie Clipa training like the other ones have had, right?
No, we've never done it right before Clipicon.
But you've done it like, okay, there was the one after the huge, and then wasn't there one when you guys were in Nashville? I thought we did one then too.
We do it, every year before the huge. We'll do it like 3 days prior to the huge, but never before Clipicon. Not that I remember.
Okay.
We had Robert in here for a minute, and then we lost him.
There was a training, Rob. I think there was.
No, he's talking about the Clipa 2-day training, though.
Not that, but she was teaching commercial training.
There's multi-seasonal.
Yeah, there was some, but that would have been it to Michael's point as far as newbies. You know, it really was. It just kind of, I would say, with Sales Boost too. I mean, Sales Boost was heavy on the people doing 500,000-600,000 plus. But there was some new people. I don't know. I think that there was very few people that were like, yeah, it's going to be my first year in lights. Like maybe 5 people, if that.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right on that one. And the hard thing too is for the speakers.
Never mind, JC's talking.
Oh, sorry. And for for speaker to speaker and for the event coordinators is staying on time. Like Michael, you faced that when you're up to your speech. Like you were 15 minutes into your time before you finally got on stage.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And that's it's disrespectful, to not manage your own time, but it's also hard because you don't want to be looking at your phone. I mean, we even failed at that, not having a timer on the stage. But we were there I was there you have 5 minutes or you're getting off the stage.
Yeah, JC pointed at me, held up a number of fingers, and then flexed his bicep when I was up on Sales Boost stage. I was like, "Oh shit, I'm serious." And then I looked.
What was the one?
I flexed back my calf, and I was like, "No, bro."
When our calendar didn't show up that was supposed to be there, I was like, you know what I really wish I could have on the speakers? And our speakers did great. All of them did awesome. But I was like, I want a shot collar that's like,
oh, that would be super cool. Just something that we had to put in our pocket, and so nobody knew we had it, but we'd be like, ugh, like you'd like with Twitch. Oh.
It'd be like the little buzzer. Your table is ready, also known as you're done.
Or
no,
even better,
pocket vibrators.
There's a box in the sink and the floor falls out. Like if your time is over.
Yeah, you drop down like 3 feet, and then all that's left is your torso and your embarrassed face.
It'd be great. It's like bracelets. They start going bright red everywhere. They're like, "Oh, I'm done." They're telling me I'm done, and everybody's like, "All right, stop."
Robert, give us some Clipicon thoughts. What'd you think about the Clipicon there? Give us some pros and cons.
To be honest with you, I thought I had no idea what to expect. That was my first Clipicon. I just started doing holiday lights last year. I expected it to be all about Christmas lights in general. And not that I would have been upset if it was, but I'm very thankful that it wasn't, because I had so many takeaways just in business in general, especially from all the networking that I've, talked to people. I have like this massive lists of notes that I've been basically breaking down and putting into like action items,
Yeah.
The only thing that I didn't like about Clipicon was the horrible cell phone service, because trying to run a business with no service sucked. But
interesting. Yeah, I noticed it, but I didn't now that you mention it, that was kind of annoying. It didn't trigger to me as like a thing, but now that you bring it up, it was a thing.
Yeah.
I had 12 voicemails.
What's that?
I had like 12 voicemails when I was done. I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
I'm getting missed calls. What the hell?
That's funny. Yeah, I didn't even realize it. I mean, I realized it, and I like thought to myself, like, this is kind of annoying, but yeah,
I thought it was
bring it up.
put together really well. I'll definitely touch on, what Angela and JC said about like the speakers. It was a little, I guess, disappointing to see that after lunch people didn't really come back right away and respect the people's time. That was a little crappy to see, I guess. But I tried to be there for every single class I could. I had a bunch of takeaways. I sat in Angela and JC's class. I sat in Michael Grigery's class. I sat in a bunch of them, and there was a lot of really good, positive things that happened. Plus, all the networking is amazing. I mean, you can't put a price to being around people that are all in the same mindset as you. Period.
I think JC had asked like what my big takeaway is, and Robert, that's it, is just the being around the right people, talking about, I mean, and like, who knows what we're talking about? Most of the time we're just bullshitting, right? But like, you get so much out of those conversations and like seeing who's doing what. And when you surround yourself with a bunch of business owners, you're naturally going to talk about business stuff because that's all you know. That's all you do, right? It's like family stuff and business stuff and family stuff and business stuff. That is what you are going to talk about. When I had JC and Angela, when you guys missed the ice fishing trip this last year, no, I'm just rubbing it in like an asshole. But a couple of the guys that were there were like, this is the best business trip I've ever been on. It was an ice fishing trip. Like it was an ice fishing trip. It just happened to be that everybody that was in that fish house, there were 7 of us. All of us were business owners. And so what do you do when you're hanging out, drinking beer with people for 4 days? You just talk about business stuff. Yep. And so just the ideas that get shared, and there's no, what was cool about it is there's zero agenda, zero, right? When you're in those circles and you're just BSing, like that tends to be when the best ideas come up and the best sharing of things come up, is when there's no agenda to do it, because it's just free flow. And so hanging out on a beach or on a boat or wherever the hell we were at Clipicon is probably my favorite thing. Is I don't mind the being in the room and learning stuff, but I learn the most from just hanging out with people and kicking around ideas and whatever the hell else comes up. And those are my favorite. Like Jeremy Jennings was a good example. I don't know how I would not know who he was. Up until Clipicon, I did not know who Jeremy was. Huh. Like, how does that happen in a world where all I do is hunt and fish, and that son of a gun is just as redneck as I am?
He's like the biggest fisherman out there.
Yeah. And so he tried to rally up some people to go fishing. And of course I had to ask my wife for permission, and it was granted. And so I got to like spend a day with him out on a boat, and that's priceless to go hang out with a dude and get to know his business and what he does and how he does it and more about his family and what he's got going on. Like, there's no substitute for that. You can't make that shit up. I didn't know Robert had a damn podcast until I was hanging out with him, drinking a beer on a boat, freezing my ass off. My nipples were chiseling diamonds up there.
Matt's coming to Vegas for a convention in like a week or two, and we're gonna shoot a podcast with Matt all about Clippa and stuff. So,
ISCA.
Yeah. Are you guys gonna go?
I mentioned to Angela. I don't think we have time though. It's like we go to Cancun, and then we come home. And then we just have our summer schedule is horrible for travel. So
it's great. That's what he means.
Yeah. Summer schedule is horrible for travel because of all the travel that we have.
Yes. I gotta jump out. I'll be back.
All right, buddy. Good talking to
you. No, but I don't think there's a substitute for that sort of stuff. It's like, even when we were all at like BBB and stuff, it can be as organized. The more organized you make it, I think the worse it gets. Conventions, you have to like have a flow, right? There's so many people, you got to like have a flow. But when you just have the small group of people, if they're all business owners, you know what they're going to talk about. You maybe need to like pick a topic to get some things going, but you barely need to nudge it along, because the conversation is just going to happen and the relationships are going to happen.
Yeah, I feel like the bigger shows, you need to have that organization, that timeline, and everything like that. But for the small stuff like the BBB, like there has to be that flexibility to like, all right, let's pivot and just start talking about this and do this. Like, we don't want to sit here and do speaker PowerPoint for 7 hours, then give you an hour at the end of the day. Like, there's so much that goes on that it gets discovered during those smaller, intimate meetings. Like you need that flexibility to say, all right, we're going to just get rid of this one now, and we'll just maybe do it next time, but let's just focus on this because this is an important topic that just came up.
Trevor said, send me a link, Platta, to which I'm going to say no, because we out of time. We're already over time. I got to go get my kiddos. Next time, Trevor.
I'm going to send him a link to sign up for Best Damn Bookkeeping.
Yeah. Best Damn Bookkeeping. Send him a link. Play it, Jai. Play it. Play us out of here, Jai. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Dan Platta. Thanks for this happy hour. Best Damn Bookkeeping. Brought to you by Angela and JC. Thank you guys for hanging out. I love when you guys can come on. I love when you're both wearing the same shirt. That actually, it's probably the same shirt. It's just what it looks like when it gets around all of JC's muscles.
That's
the exact same shirt. The same exact shirt. Guy's got one too.
Guys, stop flexing over there.
Trevor is coming on the podcast, but we got a date on the schedule. I think it's like out in July. Somewhere out in July. I got booked way the hell out. But Trevor and I are going to do a little back and forth. He's on the podcast. Tonight, I got Josh Latimer hanging out with me tonight, I'm pretty sure. Josh is coming on the show to hang out. Who knows what we're going to talk about? It's going to be Josh and I. We're going to talk forever about whatever the hell we want. So check that out if you're so inclined. And until then, you guys know what to do. Harder and harder. Pouring yourself some pride, boys and girls. Peace.